with the rules.
Good afternoon.
You got to follow.
We'll call the November 20th, 2025 Diversion Board Authority to order. And the first order will be roll call of the members.
Mayor Carlson.
Here.
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Breitling.
Here.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Here.
Mr. Pepcorn. Here. Mr. Ebinger.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Capitan. Here. Mr. Grimberg.
Here.
Mr. Steen.
Here.
And Ms. Morgan.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Next item, look for a motion to approve the minutes from October 23rd.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, I'd look for a motion to approve the order of agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 4, consent agenda. What are your wishes?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the roll call on item 4, consent agenda approval.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor
Yes.
Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Breitling.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn. Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Capitan.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
And Ms. Morgan.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you. Under the regular agenda, item 5, executive director update. Jason?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, board members. Quick update on a number of items. Over the summer, we'd received a letter from the Corps of Engineers requesting our guidance to them regarding the southern embankment and closure of that next fall in preparation for a spring flood event in 2027. So this week we sent out our response letter saying yes, based on all things going forward on the diversion channel, the southern embankment, for the Corps of Engineers to execute that next fall. On the legislative front, last week on Thursday morning, we had the Senate Capital Improvement Committee in town for their bonding bill tour. We were able to speak to them for a short time at the Yumko Center when they did a visit, and then we were able to jump on the bus and join them on a tour down along the southern embankment in south of Moorhead on the Clay County side to observe the construction work on that southern embankment. And then we were able to swing over and go up Highway 81 on the North Dakota side and view the Red River structure. So I think they were very pleased to be able to see the project in person and get a better idea of what kind of the size and scale and scope of the project. So we're going to continue to work our efforts with Minnesota. We had met with the House Capital Improvements Committee back in September. Then this was the Senate. Those are the two committees that are really influential in getting the bonding bill passed and getting funding put into the bonding bill. So we'll continue to work with them over the next 6 months as we go into the Minnesota legislative session. Also on Monday, I went down to St. Paul with Commissioner Mojo from Clay County and Lisa Bodie from the mayor's office and a few others. And we were able to meet with several people from Governor Walz's office regarding budgeting for the 2026 legislative session. And we also met with, in the same meeting, met with members of the Minnesota DNR, including Barb Naramore, who's been very involved with the project over the years. So it was a great meeting, kind of pass along where we're at overall in the project construction, and then focus on what our project requests and costs are for that we're requesting for the bonding bill for 2026. So again, both of those meetings went well over the last week, but we're going to continue. We've got a lot of work ahead between now and when the session starts, and then starting in February when the session goes through the end of May. I imagine I'll be down in St. Paul quite a few times. And then lastly, we continue to be working on the O&M plan. We've came out this week internally with we had some good meetings talking about our overall strategy moving forward and are providing some additional direction. to staff on developing all of the needs and requirements that we'll have to do during the O&M phase, operations and maintenance phase, and how we're going to get there between now and not only next fall, but through 2027, when we really will have taken control of the project. And for the planning committee meeting in December, on December 2nd, we will be holding a meeting, and that'll be a main focus, is the operations and maintenance. With that, that's my update. If I'll be open to take any questions that anyone has.
Questions for Jason? I was standing in the back of the room in the meeting with the subcommittee of the Minnesota State Senate in Jason's presentation, and his slide that showed the comparison of the diversion from south of the metro area on I-35 extending around to the west side of the Twin Cities up to Rogers, Minnesota. You could see everyone with their jaw. When it was a visual, it gave them a perspective of how massive this is compared to the metro and the Twin Cities. And so I thought that was a pretty powerful slide to show them, what this really looks like without having driven it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been effective, and for people down in the Twin Cities metro that don't understand where Harwood is versus Horace and the size and scale, it definitely gives them a much better perspective to the overall size of the project.
Good work.
All right, well, thank you.
Item 6, Mr. Shockley, General Counsel update.
Mr. Chair, I do not have any updates.
Thank you. You don't want to have any other words of wisdom?
Not today.
All right. Going. Item 7, project updates. Carrie, are you with us?
Good afternoon, Chair Grinberg and board members. Happy to be here today. Pretty quick update is all of our contractors are getting prepared for winter. At the Red River structure, still the big push is to build the embankment across the old river channel. They've got about 29 feet in height right now, with about another 30 to 35 feet to go. So good progress being made out there, and taking advantage of the nicer November than really we should be having right now. Jump down to Oxbow, Hicks, and Bakke, wrapping up that contract, punch list items left. SC1B, the County Road 1617 roundabout and intersection were open on 7 November, which is a great milestone, and they've also finished their embankment construction. That one's shown really nicely on the drone footage too, the interface between the diversion channel, SC1B, and the diversion inlet structure, pretty cool. SC2B, they've got the embankment all up to full height, so next year big push seating, of course getting the TRM in and some finishing touches. Down to reach SC4, also covered beautifully by the drone footage. That reach is 5.7 miles long. Half of it is either at full height or half height, so they're about 25% done. Down to SC3, another great shot in the drone footage. That contractor's placed about 380,000 cubic yards of embankment material this season. On SC5, 37% complete. They likely won't be completing the Wolverton Creek crossing entirely this year, and so there'll be a road closure on either side of that creek. I know they're working pretty hard to get as much done as they can, though. With that, that's my update, unless there's any questions.
Questions for Terry? Thank you. Have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You as well.
7B, Chris?
Thank you, Chair Grimberg. Board members, quick update today. As Terry said, a lot of our work right now is kind of getting wrapped up towards the winter time frame. There will be work continuing through the winter again this year, but maybe I'll cover the bridge stuff on the next slide. But maybe in that 30 to 60 day outlook, one item that we're definitely looking forward to is that Tom's note on the channel reaches 3 through 6. Reach 6 gets us from down to the Maple River Aqueduct. We will be, through the winter, our RVA and ASN will be removing all of the plugs in the channel, so we'll have a relatively functioning channel from a drainage perspective from the outlet, at least back to the Maple River, potentially back to I-94. But for sure, they'll be cleaning that up in the next 30 to 60 days. So that's really exciting news. I know the townships and the water boards up in that neck of the woods were really excited to see that we would have the ability to accept some of that spring runoff water into the channel next year, at least for that northern portion. So that's good news. The Maple River Aqueduct, again, you'll see some of that in the drone video today. But there is, we did complete our work with the Army Corps of Engineers to allow them to do the channel connection. So they're starting to prep for that work, anticipating that they'll route the Maple River through the aqueduct flume sometime in December is their current schedule. So looking forward to that as well. BNSF KO, that one is tentative. They're working hard to try to get that done. That will likely be weather dependent if this weather hangs on for a little bit longer and BNSF crews can get their track work done. They'd like to get that reconnected this fall yet. That is lagging a little bit, so that will be a little bit weather dependent. Excuse me. The Authority Administration Building, they'll be setting steel for the maintenance shop here this week. They've got pretty well all the structural steel up for the main building and are working to start enclosing that here in the next month or two. So that's the general updates there. Maybe Peggy, if you scroll to the bridge page, I'll kind of cover lots of activity here and tracking a lot of good news and just some updates for you too. They'll be opening many of the structures here in the next few weeks. We should have the interstates fully open by Monday of next week for all 4 lanes of both interstates. And that's good news. They've got the ramps open at Raymond here today and are planning to open the rest of it early next week for the holiday week. For 38th Street, County Road 1617 and County Road 81, those are all scheduled here in the next couple weeks to be open. We will have likely some gravel segments. There's a couple of areas that didn't quite get up to full pavement. There'll be some short stretches on 81 that will likely be gravel over the winter, and a stretch on County Road 1617 that will be gravel for the winter as well. Those are scheduled to open. I know we had expressed earlier this year their goal was to get all the bridges open this year. There are 3 that likely won't quite get done this year: 52nd Avenue, County Road 6, and County Road 14. Again, they're still continuing to work there, but it's just not looking like we quite have enough runway to get those fully opened. County Road 6 and County Road 14 will continue to be bypassed at the site, and County Road and 52nd Avenue will continue to have their detour set up for the winter as well. So with that, I'd stand for any questions you have related to the construction update.
Questions for Chris? Continue.
Great. Another good month for safety. The 2 recordable events were very minor discomfort type things that they just went in to have looked at out of abundance of caution. So good news there. The motor vehicle ones are just a series of probably people not quite paying attention and doing things with vehicles they shouldn't be, but nothing of significance there either. So another good safety month, and if you have any questions there, I can certainly try to answer those for you today as well.
Questions? E3 monthly update.
Yeah, so for this, we wanted to walk you through some of our project controls, in particular some of the payment side of things. That's as Paul will hit you with on the P3 budget. We're going to have a lot of expenditures coming up this next year related to the P3, but wanted to walk you through some of the payments we have been making. So under the second paragraph, we've reimbursed, or ASN has paid BNSF a little over $12 million towards their work on the project. They've submitted us over 134 invoices. They bill those through the DA, and we submit those to RRVA, and they make those payments back to BNSF for the work that they're completing as a part of the project. And then as far as payments to RRVA, we've made 5 payments to RRVA related to completion work. So the 3 shoe flies, well, I guess we had the KO shoe flies broken into 2. So the 3 shoe flies for 4 payments, and then drain 29. We just completed the interim completion for drain 30, so that'll be coming up here shortly for payment as well. And then we have made a few other payments so next one, so here's the advanced milestone payments based on the settlement. So we're basically have capped that feature out. So as work gets done out of here, we'll pay those out, and then RVA can ask for some more advanced payments. So we've got about $80 million sitting in that right now. And then a few other minor payments we've made, a few change requests that we've basically been paying those as they've reached milestones during construction, as opposed to at the completion of construction. So we've made a few $1 million in payments there. So grand total, we've paid RRVA about $124 million at this point, with again the balance of that scheduled to be paid out next year for the most part. So here's a few more that we're working towards potentially making payments yet in 2025. So a little over $22 million there. Again, the drain 30 one for sure is coming, because that one we certified as complete here today. The rest of them, they're working on their final paperwork. So that summary is again in that P3 packet month by month, so it gives you a good summary of the payments we've made to RRVA to date on the P3. So if you have any questions on that, I could certainly answer those as well.
Any questions? Thank you.
Some diversion work is wrapping up for the season, while other work toward permanent flood protection continues. I'm Tom Fuchs, Senior Construction Manager with the Metro Flood Diversion Authority, with this month's construction update. At the 22-mile-long southern embankment, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers contractors have been pushing to complete and open what they can before the weather shifts colder and snowier. Excavation and embankment construction continued at all unfinished segments of the levee. At Reach SE4, near Comstock, Minnesota, work is approaching 160th Avenue South, or Clay County Road 2. A mile north at 150th Avenue South, the road is temporarily closed for constructing the embankment and ditch crossings, as well as the future roadway, which will pass up and over the southern embankment there. Farther north, several roadway crossings and realignments are already complete and have reopened to traffic, including 140th Avenue, 130th Avenue, and 3rd Street. Work on this reach started in late 2024 and is roughly 1/4 done. At Reach SE3, utility relocation work has continued just west of County Road 81. Water and sewer utilities are now complete, and crews have installed a series of conduits to facilitate the remaining dry utility relocations. The project is coordinating with affected electrical and communications service providers to install, splice, and terminate the remaining cables and conductors, clearing the way to construct the southern embankment crossing at County Road 81 next year. More than 250,000 cubic yards of embankment has been moved across the reach, which spans west to I-29. Crews have also installed and are backfilling a precast concrete box culvert where a future maintenance road will cross Drain 51. At Reach SE1B, which is more than half done, the contractor completed the excavation and embankment work upstream of the diversion inlet structure and established the permanent connection to Reach SE2A. Earthwork continued south and west of the diversion inlet structure as well. Portions of the levee embankment and all permanent roadway alignments have been completed. Crews installed aggregate base and completed asphalt paving this month, allowing the intersection of County Roads 16 and 17 to reopen to traffic in the east, west, and southbound directions. The P3 developers' work connects to the federal work at this point, the combined crossing for County Roads 16 and 17. With the new bridge structure complete, ASN Constructors is building roadway approaches, installing aggregate base, and completing portions of asphalt paving as well. As the weather turns colder, portions of asphalt paving may remain to be completed in 2026, but the roadway is anticipated to open to traffic over the winter with temporary gravel surfacing if needed. Nearby, in Channel Reach 14, main channel excavation is nearing completion just downstream of the diversion inlet structure. Excavation in this area establishes a permanent connection between the upstream-most end of the stormwater diversion channel and the downstream end of the diversion inlet structure. More of the 19 road and railroad crossings are opening to traffic as well. With trains shifted to the permanent alignment at the BNSF Hillsborough crossing last month, the shoe-fly track is now removed, making way for remaining earthwork and paving at the County Road 81 crossing. That's yet another bridge anticipated to open to traffic in the coming weeks. Nearby, crews completed asphalt shoulder paving this month along the southbound driving lane of I-29, which will soon open to traffic as well. At the BNSF Prosper Crossing, crews have completed track and ballast installation and opened the bridge to train traffic on November 12th. Significant work is also taking place at the Maple River Aqueduct. Crews are installing heating elements and cover plating for the aqueduct's low-flow channel heating system. The heating elements will be connected to and powered from controlled cabinets along the walkway atop the flume's south wall. Assembly of the aqueduct's vertical liftgate is underway as well. Individual sections of the gate are now being installed and welded inside a temporary shelter at the west end of the flume. At the spillway, ASN Constructors continues forming and placing the concrete-faced sheet pile walls, and concrete work has now commenced on the spillway's base section as well. Excavation of the downstream engineered channel is also nearing completion. A series of boulders or roughness elements are being placed to attenuate river flows and promote fish passage prior to the permanent diversion of the Maple River through the aqueduct flume and engineered channels, a highlight we will be sure to cover in the near future. To see more construction work and meet the people behind it, subscribe to the Diversion Current.
Communications update. Amy.
Good afternoon, Chairman Grinberg and members of the board. The newsletter continues to perform well. We had a strong click-through rate to the Faces of the Diversion videos with Jason Benson and Luke Chenery this past month. We also provided supporting materials for the Senate Capitol Investment Tour and the visit with the governor's policy staff in Minnesota DNR. In terms of media relations, we had the October construction update again. We worked with the forum on an eminent domain update and also with the bond buyer for a story there. And if you haven't seen those, you'll see the links in the board bulletin later today. That's all I have, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Questions for Amy? Thank you. Lands, Justin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Board. First of all, what I'm going to show today is just a depiction of what the actual physical footprint of the project looks like on the left, as well as that upstream mitigation area. As always, we're highlighting those green areas, which indicate flowage easements that have been acquired, as well as areas that are in blue, which are currently in negotiation, and then also red areas in that eminent domain. As we look at our property acquisition progress, the construction footprint did not see any change, although near complete. And then the upstream mitigation area, once again, we see continued movement towards progress in those acquisition pieces across the entire area. We break it down a little bit more and looking at that southern embankment area as well as the associated structures, no change, as well as environmental easements, no change. Upstream mitigation is really the focus. As always, 100% completed for that drain and dam area and all the in-town levees, stormwater, and Oxbow, Hicks, and Baki area. Another way to view the information too is to look at the landowner overview by the construction footprint, both in owner groups as well as the number of parcels. It is known that many owners own more than one parcel, and some owners are across boundaries between North Dakota and Minnesota. But we do continue to see these numbers grow, as noted with that upstream mitigation area changes. Key activities, as always, the lands group is always optimistic and willing to continue negotiations towards settlement agreements for those in existing eminent domain actions. I want to highlight that we completed now 3 eminent domain trials in Cass County, and we continue to negotiate many settlements since that first trial as a positive piece within this. Right now, we have 9 pending settlement offers with property owners. For highlight, last month, we did successfully close on 3 parcels with 3 different owners, and we will continue to move forward with the Cheyenne benching areas as those are now successfully closed in that. And also of note is we do have 10 parcels among 6 owners that are scheduled to close now this month as part of those flowage easements and getting those numbers continued. We still work on the exposing of excess lands. We have 9 parcels right now that are moving through the policy, close to 52 acres. And of note on here is a little fun fact just to give this perspective as to where we've been and where we're going. We have over 20,000 acres of flowage easements that have been acquired to date, with a remainder of about 6,700. So it seems like we still have a lot remaining, but the reality is a lot of work has been done. We still have work ahead of us, but it is a positive spin on it all. And as always, we highlight the efforts of the land agents and the importance of what they're doing towards relocation, as well as claim preparations, some of the RIMP reimbursements, and as well as their efforts to help with negotiations amongst parcels with some of our critical pieces to include Christine, Horace, mobility improvement, and then that Wolverton flowage easement area. With that, I'm more than happy to take any questions.
Questions? Good work.
Thank you.
Mayor Dardis?
Thank you, Chairman Grinberg. Yeah, Finance Committee met yesterday. There were $796,792.55 of bills that were presented this reporting period. Our net cash position is $274,896,300. As you'll note on the agenda for the day, on the consent agenda, items 4C, 1 and 2, 4D, 1, 2, and 3, those were all vetted and discussed at the Finance Committee meeting, and they were forwarded to the board, obviously, with our recommendation to support those. One of the other things that you'll see under the finance update is the 2026 draft cash budget. You'll note that from draft budget version number 2 to version number 3, there's about a $53 million increase for 2026 cash budget. And with that, due to the efficiency of time, I would call on Paul Barthol to go over the line items of those that are that reach that $53 million increase. Paul? Paul?
Thank you, Mayor Dardis. The main difference between version 2 and version 3, we were able to finalize or come to an better understanding of what would be spent on the P3 this year versus what's going to be needed for next year. Chris kind of highlighted the 4 projects that remain that we thought we could get paid out yet this year. And so the remaining funding for the milestone payments are moved from the 2025 cash budget into the 2026. So there you see a significant increase in that line item. A couple of other line items that we did see some increases in is in the third-party MOU mitigation. If you look at the cash budget and what's been spent to date, we've had about 38 million budgeted this year. In 2025, we've spent just under $1 million, and that is due to some of the our partners and the settlement agreements and the MOUs. Their work is not advancing as fast as they thought it would be. So these are basically reimbursements for work in the upstream mitigation area and other MOUs. So that type of work is not getting completed. So basically, the funds were rolled from 25 into 26, looking at getting better cost estimates there. The one area that we have not finalized yet is the land. It's still rather fluid, as Justin noted earlier. With the 3 cases, they've seen a significant number of settlements, and negotiations continue that way for settlements. So we're still hoping to get a number of settlements yet this year. I will be sitting down with Justin after Thanksgiving here in the first week, and we'll get that number hammered out. So with that, I'm anticipating that number, the 27 million, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong line, 25 million to be increased. And so if you look at our total, we are 4 million under that 1 billion mark. I fully expect us to be over that 1 billion mark for our final draft budget. So, which is almost mind-boggling in a sense. We got a $3 billion program, and we're spending 1/3 of that funding, that commitments in 1 year alone, in a 12-month period. However, the majority of that is the P3 payments to the developer. So over 825 million of that. So other than that, we talked about the various funding sources. WIFIA draws have increased to match. We didn't tap into those yet, and some of the other funding sources too. So I'd be glad to answer any questions of the board. We had some really good ones yesterday in the Finance Committee. So I'd be happy to answer any that way too from the board members.
Questions for Paul?
So then, as part of that, the sales tax and the Cass County sales tax, our estimate for next year current is flat from this year. Currently, we have about 66 million in the 2025 cash budget. In the 2026 cash budget, we kept it at that same level. Mostly because, as you see in the growth, we've finally got to some positive growth within the county collections, but we're still lagging in the negative territory year on year in our growth on the city. We expect those to balance out and hit our totals for the year, but we didn't feel that it was very prudent to increase the cash budget and those revenues in 2026 with these numbers that you see here. So if you look at our last numbers, last year's in 25, we only had about 0.8 or 1% over 24. So we've seen growth, but it's not the growth that we've seen in previous years.
Questions for Paul? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other business? Hearing none. Item 12, public comment. Anyone would like to provide public comment? I see no one. Next meeting is December 18th. We are adjourned.